Hi, BonBon here. Today we have something different, utilising old footage. So, after 1 year of the chart show for City Skylines 2, I've decided to call it a day. Rest assured, long-time followers of the chart show for the original game, this will continue. But why have I decided to do this when the new show is getting more views than the old? Okay, sit down and be ready for a rant. So the original idea for the OG chart show was to supplement the frankly awful search engine on the Steam Workshop. You know how it is once an item drops off the front page, unless you know the exact name or know that it even exists, the chances of finding any specific item is remote, at best unlikely, or maybe even impossible. So recording a weekly show documenting the top items each and every week in a bite-sized format means that not only will things pop up in more search engine results, but people can watch the playlist from any point in the show's history and see things they didn't even know they needed to make their city come to life. Even now I go back and watch random sections of the playlist to remind me of things long since forgotten. When Skylines 2 was launched, it was always my intention to record a chart show for this iteration of the game. But at launch, the workshop, or Paradox mod, was conspicuous by its absence. Paradox announced it would be coming soon, but Colossal Order would be concentrating on bug fixes, rebalancing, and all the little things which should have been play tested to death before release. And Colossal Order were good to their word and did a pretty good job of fixing things up amongst all the negativity which was bouncing around the community at the time. Anyway, finally, about 1 year ago, the editor went live. It wasn't finished though. There were some issues and problems which were going to take some more time before they'd be good for the player base. But map makers and code modders were all ready to set the workshop, Paradox mods alight. Don't get me wrong, there is some excellent work out there, especially with the code modding. Certainly mods which many of us feel strongly should have been part of the base game, such as Move It and Find It, were fast to be released and have strongly added to the base game. As for map making, on this or maybe the map making channel, I'd argue a map editor wasn't even needed. Making edits to the map in-game is free, so you can paint out any shape or size as you build to fit your needs. Inspiration from map design is something, but not anywhere near as important as in the original game. Maps are also much larger now than before, meaning making a complex, highly designed, geologically perfect or fantasy creation is a massive undertaking. And with a disillusioned player base not feeling the sequel game, there are few people around to appreciate the hundreds of hours of hard work required to make a top tier map. All this has resulted in the bulk of player made maps being okay, or fine, or substandard. There are a few exceptions, but nothing that would shine a light to the best maps in the original game. The one thing which would set Skylines 2 alight was custom assets. Unfortunately, this was the one major thing modders didn't have access to. Colossal Order were working on this and it would be released as soon as was possible. Now, I'm not a coder. I know there's always going to be technical stuff the likes of you and I will never understand. And in this case, it seems it was a problem Colossal Order didn't understand or expect. And they've clearly run up against a brick wall. Here we are, almost a year and a half after the game launch and a full year after the launch of the editor, and the only new assets, excluding decals and textures, that we have are the ones generously provided by Paradox, made by some of the legends of the original game. I am not complaining about the quality of these assets. They are top drawer. But the workshop, screw it, I'm gonna call it the workshop, feels dead without assets. And while the Skylines 2 chart show gets more views than the original game show, just look at the quality difference. Just look. Which would you rather play? Yes, the scope for Skylines 2 is much, much larger. But where is the evolution? Let me be clear. If I told my employer, and if I told my customers, that I was going to do something, and that something wasn't done, and it was over a year later, and there still wasn't a hint it might be done soon, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be in that job much longer. I'm pretty sure something similar is the case here, in that I don't think we'll ever be seeing a Skylines 3, not least for a decade, and even then, under new ownership. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not calling for City Skylines 3, just for City Skylines 2 to be finished. Heck, if the game still hadn't been released, I'd be okay with that. I would wait. But releasing it and leaving us dangling, well, this has gotten beyond a joke. Only in the gaming industry would this be allowed to happen. I loaded up Skylines 2 in my holiday and played with it to see if I felt the magic now that all the rebalancing has been done, and honestly, nah, not really. The good stuff is very good, but the stuff which kept drawing me back to the original game, well, truthfully, I was bored. And I suspect I wouldn't have been the only one. So, back to the chart show. I want to honour and support the creator community, but each chart show takes me 90 minutes to 2 hours every single Saturday. Plus I work full time most Saturdays with an hour commute each way. Do I really want to spend nearly 4 hours making 2 shows for just a few hundred views, when one of the shows is full of comparatively substandard content, caused not by the creators, but by the lack of a finished workshop? No. No, I do not. I'm more than happy to continue with the original games chart show. The content there is excellent and deserves to be recognised and recorded. As for the asset editor and the Skylines 2 workshop, if it is ever released, would I consider relaunching the chart show? Honestly, I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I've had enough. So as from this week, I'm down to 1 main show a week. I hope to start something new in the original game at some point. I've had some mod conflict errors I'm trying to fix, I'm having trouble, and even Skype isn't showing me the answer. But when it's done, I plan on recreating a real life town, so watch this space. Until then, stay tuned. I'll stream when I can, maybe not always Skylines, but I will stream when I can. Take care, have fun, and speak soon. I've been BonBonB, and you've been very, very welcome.